Good. Now go back to your screen sharing.
Okay. So, okay, you guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So moving into the directory now. So the first thing is to do what? That's to do npm init if you're using npm. That's Node Package Manager for those that don't know, or yarn init if that's the yarn I want to use. But I prefer using yarn, so I'm gonna do yarn init. So it's going to ask you some little question. The first question is that's the name of the app, yeah, the version. So I'm just going to create click enter throughout. So I don't really need any one of these. So the author, you can always put your name or something, but I'm just going to click the in license. That's if you're going to use MIT, there are different licenses out there. So but I'm just going, if it's a private repo or private project, right? Yeah. So with this, right, this already initialize my npm for me. That's my package manager. This initialize my package manager for me. So if I will go back to my VS Code, so going back to my VS Code, right? You guys see package.json. Package.json. Under that package.json, right? You can see the name of the project, which is simple API CRUD, the version, the main, that this main specified as the entry point of the project, and the license. So with that, I think that's the first step. So the second step now is to know the packages you want to use. For this, we'll be using Express, which is the main package. That is the HTTP. It's actually make our HTTP call very easy. Using Node to do all those to send HTTP and receive a network call is like kind of very like you have to write a bunch of code. But with Express make it very easy for us. So we'll be installing Express. We'll be installing what again? Body parser. So body parser, when I'm actually writing the code, I will explain more. Node mon for so that I won't be stopping and I won't be restarting. It will help us to automatically restart our app anytime we make an edit. So let me go back to my terminal. So on my terminal now, I can do yarn. That depends on what you're using, right? Yarn had, sorry. Okay. Okay, I can do yarn add express.js, right? So that will install Express. So that's the first. So now if I will go back to my my VS Code, under the package.json, you can see Express.js. Sorry, is it Express.js or Express.js? So, okay, it's Express, right? Sorry about that. So let me just go back to my terminal. So you can clear my screen. It's Express. Yarn had Express. Jerry.
Okay.
So still waiting for Express to install. So while installing our Express, we can, just like what we see here, that's the main here, that's the main entry is index.js. So we can go on and create under this one, we can go on and create a new file that's index. .js. So this would be the main entry for the application. Is still installed. So, okay, yeah, we have Express installed now. This. So let me go on and remove the former one I installed. So that's Express.js I mistakenly installed. So I can do this yarn remove. Yeah, yarn remove Express.js. So going back to VS Code to check. Yeah, I have a clean dependency now. So under the dependency, you can see the Express. So that's what we'll be using for our HTTP call. So coming to the index now, can easily say const Express equals to require Express. So this line 1 here, right? Express is a dependency, is a node dependency, right? So using const Express equals to require Express now, I'm trying to bring in that dependency now into my application. So that's what the line 1 there is actually doing. So I bring in my Express into the app. So I can go on and say const, yeah, const app equals to Express. Sorry, okay, Express. So what I did here is I'm initializing, I just bring in my Express, right? That's in line 1. But in line 4 now, I'm trying to initialize that Express, like, okay, I'm calling that Express. That, okay, it's just like you bring in a function, you have to call that function. So that's what I'm trying to do with that uh, app there. So for Meet now, we need a port. So we need a port to list, like, let's say, for example, now, your URL, right? So every URL now deal with a port. So we need a port now to actually use. To make this easy, I'm kind of slow typer. Let me just copy one of the code I have here. If I can see that I have I drew the index. So I'll just copy this. Then I will explain along the way this. Yeah. So this now help me to, like you see, I'm using the app now .set. I'm setting the, okay, yeah, here I didn't have any port, and process.env. Okay, I've not installed that. So quickly, let me install other dependencies we'll be needing so that I won't be going back and front talking about the dependencies. So going back to my terminal now. So I'll do yarn had .env. What .env actually help us to do is create an environment file. There are some, let's say, for example, now you have your password here. There's a place you require to put your password in your app. It won't make sense uploading your password, the whole password, to, for example, GitHub. So this .env is a kind of environment file that help you uh, it help you create an environment file so that you won't share it on GitHub. We'll be installing .env. We'll be installing node mon. We'll be installing body parser. I hope this body parser, yeah, body parser. There is iPhone, right? Yeah, body parser. So I think those are the major things we need for now. Then dot env. Then I have error saying what? Okay, you know what? Let me just add this one by one so that we know where I'm having my error. Dot env. Okay, dot env installed. Okay, node mon. Sorry, I saw the mistake. There is no E, just node mon. So let me do this and see. Okay, yeah, I think that's installing both node mon and body parser. Okay, so, so going to our package.json. Okay, we only have .env installed already. So still waiting for node mon and body parser. Yeah, let's check that. Okay, yeah, and we have the body parser and the node mon installed. So node mon help us instead of like kind of having to anytime you make an edit, restart your server. So node mon will help us when we're starting our server. And the body parser, well, I'll explain that when we get there. So what body parser actually do is like okay, maybe when I'm trying to initialize or write the code there, I'll explain what body parser to do. So let me go back to my terminal now and see. Okay, first, oh shit. After installing my .env now, right? I have to kind of initialize the environment, the .env now. So the way to do that is you create an .env file. So .env so means .environment, right? So this now, anytime you're pushing to your GitHub, you make sure you ignore this file. You're not going to push this to GitHub. So the first thing there I'm going to do is port. I'm going to have my port. That's RC. Then I'm going to have my port. I will call it port 888 on port here. Then what again do I need? Okay, I think for now, let's just leave it as only port. So if you have any other things, any other secret, let's say password, let's for example, you're trying to ping an API, so you subscribe and they give you a password, so you're going to store everything here. But for now, I just only need it, only need a port since we are building something very simple. So going back to my code to make it more faster for me, instead of having to type everything, I've written something that's a Node.js app I've written before. So I'm just going to copy from there and make it faster. So here, I'm requiring the .env now. Copy this, put it here. That's two. Require the .env there. Let's require that's the const body parser. Body parser require. Sorry. Require body. Okay. So we have the body parser. We have the .env. So I think we are good to go. So here, what I actually do here is I'm telling my app now that, okay, this is the part for you to check the configuration. If you can see, I said .env, which is the name of the dependency, config, then the part. So it's actually on my root folder, so I don't need to do slash. So it just, since it's on my, the file is on the root folder, just pass it directly. So with that, it's going to check here. So for me to use the port, then I have to do process.env, that's process.environment.port, which the port is the variable here, right? Hope we all get that. So On that, I did server. That's just kind of creating a server variable app.listing. So the app here, right, is the express I initialized there. So app.listing. So where is it going to listing? It's going to listing on the port, which is the port here. And the port will be what? The port will be 8888. That's which we put inside the environment. So now, if everything successfully connect, it will kind of log this. App is running on ports. That's it, to display the name of the port. So let's try and run that. So coming back to my terminal. So for me to run that, I can just say nodemon. Since I've installed nodemon, I will use nodemon to run it. Index.js. So it's going to run that. Okay. Say nodemon not found. Okay, you know what? Let me just initialize this inside my package.json. Let me just ask. So I can do this. Okay, sorry, I have to have a start script rather. So I have that already. Let me bring in my start scripts from this. Sorry, I want to save time, so I have to do some copy and paste. So this start script now will show your, will tell your app, okay, this is where you should run this from. So let me just remove this. So from what we have, right? I have my nodemon. Sorry, let me remove this. I'm using something. So so from the start script, this is a dev. The dev there is a kind of a, should I say, a variable. I'm not sure. I don't know what to call that, but I will show you how to use that here. So I can do yarn. Since I'm using yarn, if you're using npm, you're going to use npm. But since I'm using yarn, so I'm going to use yarn run dev. So that dev on the script, that's what I actually put here. So yarn run dev. I'm telling my application now to run, to use the dev. And what's on the dev? Here we have nodemon index.js, which is the main, our main entry point. The main entry point. So I will do this. So hopefully you don't have error. So yeah, whoa, that actually worked. So we have app running on port 888. And if you will all remember, it's port 888 that we have inside our environment file. So with this, we are able to start our app, right? So even though, let's say for example now, on my browser, I go to, sorry, my browser, go to, hello, okay, is someone asking question or something? So on my browser now, I can say localhost, that because that's my system now, I'm using localhost port 888, that's the URL now, or you can use 127.0.0.1, that's column 888. So enter. It's not actually going to show anything. Yeah, cannot get. So why showing this? Because we don't really have anything. We don't really have any endpoint. So let's create our endpoint. Sorry, here cannot get. So no any endpoint for it to read. So let's create our endpoint now, which is the first thing. So we'll do that inside our app. So we can say app dot get. So you do this, then the first thing is you pass the endpoint, comma, then you have your function. So I'm going to use arrow function. Hope you all understand arrow function. We have our request, we have our respond, then the arrow function. So what do you want to reply? So I'm going to use, so now the rest here is the response. So I'm saying that, okay, if anybody hits this slash is just like your home. for those that write HTML, say like your index.html. So that's what this slash will do. So anytime anybody hits your normal, just like the way we type localhost dot colon 8888, it's going to come here. So I can say response dot status. That's the status I want to give. I can say the status should be 200 dot JSON. Yeah, so that means I'm sending a JSON response here. So I can say message. Message. I can say success, comma. Then I have what? Maybe if I have any data, but since I don't have any data, let's just leave it message. Oh, sorry, I can still have another, and maybe just say data, and have this. Welcome to a simple node app. So having this, save. So if you check the terminal now, I don't need to actually kind of restart the application since we installed NodeMon. So NodeMon is doing that for us. So going back to the browser, so if I hit the endpoint again, like if I hit that again, so yeah, we have message, that's success, that's the message you're sending, and the data say welcome to. So this is our first endpoint, right? This is like, okay, if any, just like the way if you visit your facebook.com, the first thing is going to show you is just like this. So these are first endpoint. So quickly, because of time, let's quickly rush to creating our simple CRUD application. That's the create, read, and update. So we have that. So I believe we all understand this now. But before that, let me create the first endpoint, the first create endpoint. For us to create the first endpoint, I can do app.get, okay, let's say that's the endpoint. Now you're going to put your endpoint, let's say create. Then you're going to have your, how many minutes do you have left?
Well, it's not started counting, but I also start counting.
Okay, because I'm trying to see, okay, if we can write something into the database at least. Okay, so to do this, okay, yeah, since we have get already, maybe we should try post instead. So we can do post rather. Yeah. So we'll have post. I can do this and this. So for post now, right? We have request dots. Anything you're sending is actually coming inside a body. So we can say request dot body. So what we'll just do, since it's a post, I will just return all the data that you sent from the front end. So there I can just say, so instead of this, I can just say respond the status. Status will be 201. Since we are creating something, will be 201. Just we are imagining that, okay, this we are us creating something into the database. So the JSON. So we'll have our message to be successful as always. Success. Then we'll have our data now. Our data this time around will be this time around will be request dot body. Yeah. So this dot body now is everything now you're sending. Let's say, for example, now you submit a form. Everything will be inside your request dot body because you're sending a request now to the server. So that's what this means. That's request. So it will be inside the body. The request itself comes with a lot of stuff, like a lot. So but we just only need the body. I want to send us to get the body back. So that's why I'm sending request dot body. So for us to test our for us to be able to test our post, we'll be using something called an application. You can, it's a plugin on Chrome, or you can download it to your system. Like it's cross-platform. That's if you're using Linux, Mac, and Windows. So I will be using Postman now for our testing. So this, okay. So on Postman, you can do all your, just like, for example, instead of creating a front end, like your form, your name, blah, blah, blah. So Postman will help us to do that. Just like kind of emulating our front end. Yeah, so I'm going to do localhost, which is that's our URL, our endpoint rather, localhost dot 888 then /crate. If you remember, we use /crate here. That's /crate. That's the endpoint we are trying to target now for us to create. That's the endpoint ins /crate. So that's why we are using /crate. On the get, we don't use anything. We just use / so it's going there. So now we are going to use /crate. On our Postman, we use /crate. So on the body, just like what I said, everything will be sent on the body. You use form data when you're submitting your HTML form. You use form data. So form data, let's say name. The first one is name. I'm going to use, of course, my name, Ahmad. Maybe interest. Then I'll have coding. So that's it. I'm just only going to send this to. But actually, this is not going to work. But let's try that because I've not configured my body parser. So anything you're sending, like if I send directly like this, right? I have to convert. I have to use my body parser to convert it to a kind of a JSON. We have 10 minutes. Wow. Okay, let me be fast. We have only 10 minutes left. So, but let's try it. Let me send this. So sending this, you can see the error. Say request the status is not a function, blah, blah, blah. Let's check our terminal to see what the error is. Okay, app dot post. Okay, so checking back the code. Let me see, what did I do wrong? App dot post. Okay, sorry, this will be rest, not request. I'm responding. I'm not requesting. So let's try it again and see what error do we have this time around. Say the status is not a function again of the post, blah, blah, blah. So the status.json. So I guess it's still the body parser stuff. So let me, okay, sorry, I misspelled the status. I put double T. Test again. So that's it. Okay, we already have success, but that is not returning my data, just like I promised that we're supposed to have our data, that's the body dot quest. So let me quickly show you how to do that. Going back to my former code, if I can quickly copy, but okay, yeah, I have it here. Come back before the request, I have it here. So I can quickly, okay, so now I have app.use body parser. No, I'll just copy on here. do body parser control.json. What I do initially is that I structure it, but since I don't have that time here, or can do the same here, control V and do this. So I think we are good. Let's see if the app is still running fine. So let's try the send again and see if we are going to get the front end entirely this time around. So we still have our name, we still have the, so let's see what it's going to give us. Okay, and now we have our data, but it's returning an empty data. So returning an empty data, let's check what's the problem. Why are we getting empty data? Request.body. Okay, let's just quickly do this. Let's quickly log this. Yeah, I do a lot of console log. So request.body. Yeah, request.body. Let's log that and see. So go back here, send. Okay, so let's check our terminal for the log. Wow. Okay. Showing that nothing like is coming from the what's it called, from the postman. So what could be the issue from the postman? I have my body, select this. So let's change to this. I don't know if that's the problem. Ahmad, I don't think that's the issue actually. Ahmad, let's say interest. Let's say interest coding. So coding and send. Okay, yeah, and we have our data back. So I think you always have to use this. Okay, if you're configuring your this one, you have to use your. Okay, yeah. If you see here, we have form URL encoded. If you check the body parser here, that's the same thing I'm passing. That's body parser dot URL encoded. So I think that's the issue we have here. So we're able to do get and post.
The picture on the screen is not clear.
Which picture?
Okay.
So we are able to do get and post. So I don't know. We don't have enough time.
Yeah, we are running out of time.
We are running out of time. Sorry, it's because of the hack and the stuff.
You can now ask your questions.
So you can.
Somebody was not seeing your screen. It says so in his question, but we have about, should I say, 5 minutes for questions, if that's what it is here, and also suggestions if you have. But okay, we have about 5 minutes for questions, and we're open to questions. I saw someone was saying that you couldn't see the code. It was probably too small, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe you can increase your screen so that the person will get to see what we've done so far. Okay, somebody is suggesting something. May I suggest that you use a brighter theme to allow code to be more visible?
Sorry.
Dave. Okay, thank you very much, Dave. That was an interesting one. The guy is a bat. He like working the night. Okay.
I hope this looks a little bit better.
Okay. And is the screen so far better? By the way, you can now unlock your mic and ask your questions. It's open to ask questions.
I can't hear. So.
No, I'm actually, you can unlock your mic and ask questions now. And just so while this is stopped, we're also going to run our DevC catch up. Just let's say after this class, so that we can start the Zoom and we can use that also to ask questions related to this and also get to know how far we've all been going. So I know these guys are going to sign us out in any minute from now, but let's go. Should I say in the absence of question, okay, somebody says.
And I guess again, maybe we might have another class for me to continue from where I stop here. So then we'll be just kind of be building on what we actually did today. Like maybe
Connect to
connect
database.
to database. So we'll be creating real, yeah.
Yes, connect to that. Do edit, put and
Yeah,
put
there will
posts,
be
delete, and all
create
those.
and delete. But now we are going to the database. You're bringing everything and out from the database.
All right, guys. In the absence of question, we are going to restart this and move to DevC catch up. If you want to be part of it, it's a really fun thing. We used to get to know where everybody, and it's usually an open mic discussion where we don't really mute anyone. So I'm going to stop this one now. I'm going to end this meeting now, and we can move on to DevC catch up. Is that okay, guys? I'm not receiving any queries, so I'm going to assume that's an agreement.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, everyone, and all everyone, and also the guy that hacked us. Thank you so much. We learned something today. We know that next time we're doing a class, we're going to hold ourselves.
Yeah, we're going to use password. I guess the person that actually hacked us like kind of make everything stop, but at least we'll learn from it.
Yes.
So thank you very much, everyone.
So I'm going to end this now.
Bye bye.
Okay, end.